I used to like the Power Ranger that was Asian. They finally found the girl that maybe likes
Yeah,
Asian guys, so they go all in.
yeah.
And for most girls, that's a little bit scary.
Okay, Octavia. Hi.
Hello?
You're from Romania.
Yeah, Romania.
Um, and are there a lot of Asian guys in Romania?
So we have Asian guys in major cities, like my city, which is Timișoara, and we have in Bucharest and in other big cities in the country, but they tend to be very shy and keep to themselves or to their groups. So unless you have access to those groups or you know somebody, they don't really go out there, you know.
So then, how do you hunt?
So I do have a few friends which are Asian, and I do hang out with those type of groups, but I don't want to scare them. So we are just basically friends, and most of the Asian guys that I knew and I actually dated were long distance. So unfortunately, face to face yet, I haven't actually achieved that, unfortunately.
In Romania, are the Asians? Do they? Is it like Chinese people hang out with Chinese people, Korean people hang out with Korean people? Are they like very country based?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends. The group that I know mostly is Korean people.
Korean, okay.
And yeah, yeah. I do know some Chinese people in Paris, and yes, they do tend to be Chinese with Chinese and Korean with Koreans, or I don't know, Vietnamese with Vietnamese, maybe because of the language barriers, and that is why.
Do they
Yeah,
do they speak the language or like what
they
do you
speak
guys
Romanian.
really?
Yeah. Yeah, and the father and the son, they speak it so well. It's amazing. Like the first time I went there, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get into English mode. And the son, which became a friend of mine, he was like, no, no, I can speak Romanian. I was like, what? You really? And I was, yeah. Chinese people as well. We have guys that went to Romanian TV shows and they were Asian and they participated and they speak perfect Romanian.
Wow. If I go to Bucharest, will if I speak English, will the girls know or will they not understand English?
We do speak a lot of English in Romania, especially the young people, especially under 40, even people over 40 speak English, so you won't have a problem. So I had a couple of long distance relationship, and usually I met them on an Asian male, white female group on Facebook.
Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
And
Okay, I'm really curious. I always imagine like a lot of guys just bombarding the girls on these groups because I've been on these groups for a while just because I'm researching. But whenever I see those posts, is that true or am I wrong?
yeah, they do that. And usually, unfortunately, they're the type of guys who are not overbearing, just like they finally found the girl that maybe likes
Yeah,
Asian guys, so they go all in.
yeah.
And for most girls, that's a little bit scary. For me, with both people I dated long distance, we started off as friends and we developed really well, we developed feelings for each other in time. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That mean like it's like you have a water in the desert, like oh water, water, let me drink.
Yeah.
Like so. Don't do that. Number one, don't do that, guys. And then number two, I think. So, what made these guys stand out from all the messages?
So the first one is a guy from Seoul. Actually, he's from South Korea, and he's a real estate agent. He's a bit older than me, so I picked guys that were older because that's
So,
my type.
so your messages, you just looked at their profiles. You're like, I like this one, and you picked that one.
No, they interacted with me, and he felt that he didn't feel so much as a pervert and so much as overbearing as the others. We just started to talk about the culture because he asked me like, well, we I was presenting myself in the group and I said, well, I like Korean culture and I would like to visit South Korea. And he said, well, you know that South Korea and Korean culture isn't what you see in K dramas because there's that stereotype that women go for Korean guys because they think they are the guys in Korean drama. And I was like, yes, I know that they are not, but I don't expect Korean guys to be rich and buy me stuff. No, I expect the couple clothes, those things I like a lot. I expect, like, I don't know, guys being cute for their girlfriends because guys always tend to want to be manly, but girls also like that part when the guy is cute and acting all cuddly just for her. I like the family part very much because Asian guys are very family orientated, so I like that very, very much because I'm like that. And I told him, well, yeah, I know I'm very aware that I'm not gonna meet K drama guys, but at least I want guys that are different from what I see here. And I want the guy who's polite and everything. And when he heard that, he said like, "Oh, okay, so you know the reality. You're not dreaming." I was like, "No, I'm not dreaming. I'm like," but the difference between him and the other guy was that the other guy is very confident in himself. He's very slick. He's very taking care of himself, and I really like that. That's another thing that I like in Asian guys. Asian guys take care of themselves. They don't mind having a skincare. They don't mind wearing nice clothes. Like I'm tired of seeing guys just wearing trousers that are half at the bottom of their bottom and just having a, I don't know, something on their head and a loose t-shirt. And I'm like, no, I want someone that's very taking care of himself and I don't know, to go out and be proud like this is my man and he's there, he's dressing nicely and he doesn't have all zits on his face or stuff like that. And I don't know, he doesn't look like he hasn't showered in a week, you know. And Asian guys are not like that. I have seen a lot of Asian guys that take care of themselves and improve themselves. And on the internet, there are a lot of people who criticize them for wearing makeup or having a skincare routine, but those guys, they don't do anything. Like the Asian guys put effort. They go to the gym, they eat well, they take care of their skincare, they take care of the way they dress, they take care of their education, they take care of a lot of things. But you stand there and criticize them when you do nothing.
When I came to the States, I came here for college, right? And then I didn't have any style. I had to learn game or become a cool guy. And then, but I'm still pretty nerdy, right? But I have a skincare routine. I actually like pedicures. I don't get them that often, but I enjoy them when I do with my girlfriends or otherwise. But like in dating, I've always had in America, I've always had to understand that even though I'm more feminine, I would say I'm not super feminine, but I'm more feminine than an average American guy. My interactions with girls and dating, the way I speak and the way I dress, it can be feminine up to a point, but it can't go over. You know what I mean? Like if I'm gonna dress like a K-pop star, put makeup on, have really pale skin, and be like, "Hey, sweetie, how you doing?" Like those Asian like dating shows. I would never get a girl here in America. You know what I mean? So I had to adapt. But I do think like when I go back to Asia, I see these guys in like these glasses and they have like very like button-up shirt and they're stylish, but they're feminine. They look feminine. And I think there's a difference in culture. I just don't, in the Western culture, I don't think you can run, there's a little bit more dominance. Metrosexual or more like femininity. Yes. So I think that's the difference in here in the States or in North America, I would say.
I think it's also about the openness because in South Korea or in Japan or in China, so guys that are taking care of themselves, are grooming themselves, are seen as a better match. Like I have this guy that I'm following on Instagram, and every time he posts, I don't know, dressed well or something, I'm like, oh, why cannot all guys dress like that? Or I don't know, I see guys on Instagram dressing well, but most of my guys are Asian. So
these two guys, okay, so are you talking to them on DM or is it like on a Facebook thread?
We were on Messenger talking, and after that, I installed Kakao Talk. for the guy from South Korea.
Okay.
And the other guy I kept texting on Messenger. They weren't at the same time. They
Okay.
were
No
at
judgment.
different.
It's okay. You can be a player. It's all good. Yeah.
No, because
I don't care.
wanted to make that clear. So first was the guy from South Korea, and we started to talk on Facebook. And after that, I installed Kakao Talk for him, and we continued to talk there. At one point, I even wanted to move to South Korea, and he was like, "If you want, I can help you and maybe find a job." And I even sent in my resumes.
But have you met him
And
yet in person?
no, unfortunately, no, because he cannot fly. We did a lot of video calls. I even met his family. He met my family through video calls.
Oh,
And
you can't fly.
yeah, I can, but my father, I'm an only daughter. And my father was like, "I'm sorry, but I don't feel comfortable sending you to a country where you don't know anyone except
Oh,
him."
I see. Sorry. How? If you don't mind
And
me asking, how old are you?
well, at the time I was 22. Now I'm
Okay.
27.
Okay. Your dad didn't feel comfortable. Okay. Understood.
Yes,
All right.
because he said like I would really appreciate it if he would come here and we
Yeah,
can
that
meet
makes sense to
him.
me. Yeah, because you never met this guy, right? I mean, who knows? You had video chats with him, but you still don't know.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I met his whole family. He met my whole family, and they, we were very close. I'm very close to
Yeah,
his
but I think
brothers.
if the guy's serious, he would fly out to see you. That's my opinion.
It's a medical condition, unfortunately, that he cannot fly. He doesn't like being confined in closed spaces. He gets panic attacks.
Okay.
So
What? Okay. That's all right. Do you believe him?
I do, because he never had a reason to lie to me. So when you are dealing with long distance relationship, you often find yourself maybe wondering if the other person has a relationship as well.
Did the relationship end because your dad said you couldn't fly over there?
No, the relationship ended because at one point we were like, okay, this is taking way too long, and I felt like maybe I was stopping him from like finding someone there, and I was like, unless you can come here, I won't go there, because I really didn't feel okay with going, unless, because he was always like, I will even pay for your flight. His mother also said that we can pay for your airplane. You don't need money at all. Just come here.
So girls have to have game in countries like in Eastern Europe and Romania, and I've seen it in Brazil too, where every girl looks like she could be a Victoria's Secret model. And
Yep.
like
Yep.
my really good friend, he married a Brazilian girl. I was there for a wedding, and she's like, "Oh yeah, you should see my brother. He's unemployed. He lives with my mom, and he has two girlfriends." And I'm like, "Wait, what is going on here?"
Oh
So
my god.
yeah, but is Romania like that too, or is it less extreme?
So Romania has a lot of beautiful women. Like I used to tell the guy from South Korea, he has brothers, and I was like, if you want, I can find. You can come to Romania with your brothers, and I can marry both of them off, because they will have from where to pick. All Romanian girls are beautiful. They are like very hardworking. Most of them. They take care of the family, so very family orientated, and above all independent at the same time as being there for the family. So
You didn't have any
uh,
other crushes on like TV shows or American TV shows? Any other like why anime? You know what I
I
mean?
used I used to like the Power Ranger that was Asian from Power Rangers. I don't know.
So you don't have okay. There's no reason. There's no logical reason. It wasn't like your first kiss was an Asian guy. It was just
No,
you just liked it for some reason, and you don't even know why.
yeah, yeah, I didn't know why. As I grew older, I started to notice maybe the features. I don't know, because that was the first thing. I like the features a lot, and I was like, is there something wrong with me? Because most girls like, I don't know, blonde guys with blue eyes, something like that. And I was like, no, Asians. But I don't really regret it. I wouldn't change that for.
Well, what's the regret? I feel like that's you're just. I feel like that's innate. Like you're born with it, maybe. Have you
Yeah, people say maybe you were born in the wrong country. I'm like, no, I was born in the right country and I like the right type of guys. If I was Asian, maybe they wouldn't pay so much attention to me. But if I go to South Korea, blonde, East European. So
do
I don't know.
you have you tried dating other types of guys?
Yes, I have dated 100%.
Mostly
I
in
have had a
Romania.
long-term relationship with a Romanian guy.
Is your impression of Romanian guys very bad based on what you said? My guess.
No, it's not very bad. They are just not my cup of tea. Let's say it like this, because how to say this without sounding, Romanian guys tend to be not brutes, but they are very like, how to say this, very not direct, but rude in a kind of gangster way.
Yeah,
They
kind
don't
of
say like
blunt. Kind of
Asian
blunt.
guy, yeah, will come and talk to you and say, "Hi, nice to meet you. So my name is, I don't know, June. Could you please tell me your name?" And the Romanian guys, most of them are like, "What's up, pretty?" And I'm like, "Mm-mm. No, that's not a way to start a conversation. That tells a lot about the way you are and who you are and the way they dress, the way they act, the way, I don't know, they throw." There is another aspect of Asian guys that I like. They don't show off that they have money, most of them. So that's a good thing. Like when someone comes and just throws like in your face that he has a nice car or he has a house or an apartment, it means that that's the only thing he has to show. He cannot show anything more. Or if he can, he's not capable of yet. He doesn't know it himself. But I have talked to a lot of Asian guys, a lot of Asian girls, and the impression is that they only always try to present themselves, not what they have. And that's awesome. It's nice to talk to someone and them not being interested in what you have and you not being interested in what they have, uh, financially and when it comes to things.
Yeah, you were correct. My dad always told me, rich man doesn't need to tell you he's rich. Um, but like, I wonder, are you maybe being too hard on? Because there are a lot of guys in Romania. Maybe you just met the ones that were a little bit more ghetto and not as high classy. Maybe there are other guys who are not like that.
There aren't. There are guys who are very nice. There are guys who are very like taking care of themselves as well, grooming themselves. Sorry, but the problem is they are either not interested in relationships or they are taken. So I see that a lot. Like I see nice guys who are in a relationship, or I see nice guys. I talk to them and they're like, sorry, not interested in a relationship. If you want to hook up or something, like, no, like
Is there?
no.
Do you know if the single female to single male ratio is different in Romania? Like, there's more women than men, or is
Yes,
it equal?
there are more women than guys.
Yeah, I have noticed that even a small percentage change in the women-men ratio completely shifts the power balance in dating. And I
Hmm.
think you're right about the more family values. I find the Asian culture, the traditional family values, are very similar to actually a lot of Eastern European countries. People don't know this, but it's actually quite similar.
Yes.
Like it's okay for the woman to be the woman, you know, it's okay for a guy to be a guy, and they care about like the future, the family, stability. There's a little bit more emphasis on that. Respecting our elders, that's a big one in Asian culture that I don't see in America at all. Um, so I think those are, people don't know until they travel to these countries and they hang out there for a while. Like, oh, these are, the value system is different. And then I
Yes,
have, yeah,
sorry.
yeah, no, it's okay. And then I have noticed also a change in the ratio, the sex ratios, and the fact that the women are overall more beautiful increases. It shifts the dynamic of the dating. So now, for example, in America, even for me, like I'm a guy who's improved himself. I have to compete to be able to get the girl that I want when I was single. But now, if I go to like Brazil or certain places in Eastern Europe, I can pretty much just walk around, hang out, and I'll meet the girls. That, you know what I mean? Like it feels very fluid, very simple. I don't have to try that hard.
Yes, you can thank the guys from K-pop like Super Junior, BTS, Monsta X. I think they are the ones who open the doors even more for Asian guys. And then you have like actors and K-drama actors who have done that, and even older K-drama actors. They are like girls fall over them. I don't know if you know. There is an actor. I forgot his name. He played the Nine-Tailed Fox, but he's very famous, like in South Korea, and he's 40, and girls are all over the internet saying "Daddy." I'm like, no, 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 don't do that. But they admire him because if you take a look at an Asian guy who's 40 nowadays, and any other ethnicity that is 40, you can see that the
There's
Asian
a
guy
big
doesn't
difference.
look.
Yeah, yeah.
But regarding the traditions and everything, yes, you are right. Eastern European countries are more family oriented. We still look at our elders for advice. We still keep in touch with them. A lot of people still live with their parents until they get married. They don't go out and live alone that much. That only happens to students, I think.
Yeah. The idea of the unit, the community is still there. And in America, it's about individualism, right? Well, we have our freedom, but in that individualism, there is like isolation and a little bit of like feeling lonely. I think that's the main difference between the cultures. I even coach guys in European countries too sometimes, but most of my Asian clients are from the States or like North America, not in Eastern Europe or Asia. I wonder if the long distance thing would be viable because it feels like a lot of work, you know? I feel like I think that if I were to do it, let's say if I was in your position or if I was an Asian guy, I would go to a place where there was a type of person that I wanted. I think that I want. And then I would maybe stay there for like a few months just to see what that energy is like and maybe date around and find out if that's something that might want to continue. Because I feel like the in-person thing it's hard to skip that. There's so many things you don't know about someone when you're just doing video chat that you can't find out unless you hang out with that person, you know?
True. So in my case, the only thing that was in between me and the Korea guy was the fact that he couldn't come to Romania because my dad said once I meet him, once I can tell what kind of a person he is, once I can spend some time with him and at least maybe get to know him a bit, maybe get to see how he is, I don't have a problem with you traveling there. But I think this is another part. As a man, he should come first. I was like, I don't care about that. I want to go and see him. And he was like, yes, but I care about your safety and wanting you to be safe. So if he comes here, he's welcome to stay with us. He's welcome to stay as much as he likes. Then you can go together back to South Korea, but at least let him come first to you.
No, I agree
So
because that's such a big
that
problem.
was the thing that helped us.
That is such a big problem because even if you were dating, right, your families are in different countries. So does that mean he can never travel on an airplane? You know what I mean? He has to be able to make that jump. And if he can't, then I don't think he's, you know, I think you did the right thing. If I went to Romania, if I walk around the city, right, like what could be the reactions I would get? You think?
So there wouldn't be that many googly eyes because we are kind of used to it. We have Asian tourists in Timisoara, but you would get a lot of attention from Korean fans, I think. Yeah.
You mean girls
Because
who like Korean culture?
yes,
Even
I
though I'm
think
not
yes.
Korean.
Doesn't matter. They would tell you apart. Like they know if you're not Korean. Trust me. I have been amazed, especially the younger girls. I took time, so I know the difference between Chinese, Malaysian, Japanese, Korean, but they're like dogs, bloodhounds. Like one time I was with my friends and we went to Kmart, and when we got out there was a group of girls outside, and one of the friends of my friend Roku, who's the guy that opened the Kmart, was there, and they were like all looking at him like, oh my god, there he is. And I was like, poor guy, he's gonna be hunted down so bad. And the second he turned and left, they all went to my friend Rokyu. How old is he? What's his name? Is he single? Can you tell us his Kakao Talk? And I was like, don't do that. Like,
Wait, hold on.
run.
You're with a
Don't
bunch
do
of
it.
you're with a bunch of little girls, young girls, stalking a guy at the Korean supermarket. Did I get
Yeah,
that right?
well, young girl, little girls, 20, 19,
Okay,
just fresh out of
relatively, yeah,
college.
yeah. Okay, that's really
So
funny.
yeah.
So if I, what about regular, like the girls that don't know about K-pop or J-pop, like just regular. If I go to a bar or let's say I go to some social event and I talk to like an average girl, random girl, would she be
Mhm.
interested in me, or would it be like this guy's too foreign?
Maybe they would be interested, especially if you're tall. So being tall is an advantage. And maybe if you knew your way with words, yes, they would be interested. And there's another thing. Um, so most people here in Romania know that Asian people are rich. Even if they aren't, they always
They
think
assume the
like, oh,
stereotype. Yeah, got it.
yes, they
So I
assume
see.
like,
There's a little bit more of a class bias rather than a race bias in your countries like yours. In America, there's more of a race bias. Like for example, there's about 20%, depending on the town I'm in. Let's say I'm in an all-white town. I would say
mhm,
probably up to 20 for a guy like me. Even 20% of girls, 2 out of 10, they might talk to me, but you can tell that they won't date an Asian guy. Probably 20%. Is that similar, or do you think it's different?
it might be. So, for example, if you have another foreigner, like a Spanish guy or I don't know, a guy from Britain or stuff like that, and you would have an Asian guy, or they would be more attractive because they tend to think Asian guys aren't manly.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
for example, if you take a guy that has, I don't know, he's a bigger size, they would be more attentive towards him than if he was like skinnier or slimmer.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense
that,
to me. Because those are
but
universal attraction triggers, right? It's like any culture, taller, more dominant, more masculine, are usually attractive traits for women across cultures. That's just science. Well, I'm biased too because I'm a dating coach. But for me, I feel like any guy who's a minority, even white guys actually white guys don't really have a problem in Asia either. But I have clients who have issues. I think any guy should just strive to be universally attractive, no matter what. To be able to know how to talk to women, to be able to dress well, to be able to present themselves well. And because of that, I have always stayed away from these white girl Asian guy groups because I see it as almost a handicap, you know? I believe that the perfect dating situation for most people would be to live in a city or go to a place where the social velocity is fast, where you can make friends and you're in close proximity to people that you might be interested in, and maybe just be friends or maybe casually date, but get to a point where you understand like long term if you're compatible, and you also, if you're younger, like what kind of girls or what kind of guys you like. Then from that
yeah,
abundant mindset, be able to choose properly, not from a place of scarcity. Oh, this is the one person I met this year, I hope they like me. To a place where it's
true.
like, okay, I'm making a proper decision based on a lot of options that's right for me. And because I picked a girl that came from a place of not fear, but place of like, I'm healthy and I know what I'm doing, it's better for that girl too, because I'm not going to leave her for some other girl. And also I properly identified that she's the right fit for me and I'm the right fit for her. Unfortunately, and again, maybe I'm biased, but I feel like a lot of Asian guys don't think that way. They think like, oh, if I go to this country or if I go on these forums, I can find this one girl who likes me. And I think, to be honest with you, from my perspective, and again, I'm a dating coach, so I'm biased, but I genuinely feel like that is a shortcut, but in a way, it's not a shortcut because you are not able to go through this proper journey, a rite of passage that I think every guy should go through, which is to learn how to properly present yourself and communicate well with women in a dating situation. Because having that skill will allow you to pick the right person for the rest of your life and also allow you, I think, to be able to carry yourself well for the rest of your life. And I think a lot of Asian guys they either don't know how to do it, they don't know, they think it's possible, or they never really push themselves to even take that approach, you know? That's my take, man. So for me, it's like I do fine in the States, but I know that I haven't been to Brazil and Eastern Europe, that if I just hang out there for a year, that it'll be like it'll be a pretty good time. I had a friend who actually ended up in was in Moscow or Belarus. He told me go to Moscow and Belarus, and he said just hang out there for 6 months. And he met his wife there. He's like he's made his wife there. They've been married for 2-3 years now, and he said, look, just I spent a year not dating, but not even like sex wasn't a big thing. He just wanted to get to know them, and he picked like the perfect girl for him. I feel like that's like
Aw.
the right move. You know, that's what I would do. All right,
Yeah, you
what are
are
your
right.
thoughts about my hypothesis? That's my take on how Asian guys should improve their dating lives.
You're right about that, especially since the media has projected Asian guys as weak or in a certain way. And only until recently, Asian guys have started to be there and be presented and seen in a different light. And I think this is due to maybe stars that have started to be there more seen in Hollywood, and for K drama, K pop has opened that, and it's giving ordinary guys, ordinary Asian guys, the confidence that okay, maybe I can get out there and maybe I can be more open, I can try more, I can have confidence in myself, I can take care of myself, I can improve myself and become better. They My advice for you guys who are trying to date is just be yourself, take care of yourself, because from my point of view, girls like that. I have tried dating other guys from different races, but I'm always like, I will tell you this, if I'm in a room and there's a crowd of guys, and they can be all type of guys, but if there's only one Asian guy, I will look at that Asian guy. I don't know why. Because I have asked myself why. And it's just the features, it's just the way they are, the way they look. They have, I don't know, for me, when I see an Asian guy, I see stability. I see a guy who has potential, who's hardworking, who will be there. So that's what I see. And it's not projected because of media or something. It's projected because the people I met in my life, that the guys that were Asians were always hardworking, were always there, were family oriented, were taking care and independent of themselves at the same time. And that's refreshing. And I hope from the bottom of my heart that Asian guys will start to be more confident, because they have the whole package. They just need to work a little bit on it. And it's I think Asian guys are starting to be refreshing. You know, when you always see the same thing and then you see that there's something with a little bit of potential, you will go for that. For me, that's what I saw. So I don't know. Maybe I will change my mind next year when I go to South Korea, and maybe I will see that the grass isn't greener on the other side. But until now, I have met a lot of Asian guys from different cultures. I have met guys from Malaysia, USA, from Great Britain, so from all over the world, because I was in a support group, and they were awesome people. You just had to get to know them and meet them, and I don't know, even if it was just video calls, you could see that they were awesome guys. So just go for it, have the confidence. You guys rule. You can rule the world. So I think you are right on what you said.
One last thought I had is I liked your angle that you can be foreign and still be mysterious and attractive, right? We see from science studies they can manipulate the CRISPR now, where you pick the baby's eye color, and in North America, blue and green are the most favorite colors, but when you go to like the Norwegian countries like Sweden and stuff, they pick brown because everybody has blue eyes. So I think as human beings, there is a part of us that's always attracted to something that's different and foreign. But that different and foreignness has to be presented in a way where it still has those universal attraction triggers, right? It's like you can be foreign, but if you're too feminine or if you're too much on the other side, it's hard to relate. But if you present yourself in your culture in a way where you still hit the attraction triggers that women find attractive in men, right? Women and men gender as opposed to culture. I think that can sometimes even be more powerful than two people dating that are very similar. If you know how to leverage that cultural gap, so to speak. And so that's something that my course addresses. Think below. But I'll be good. I'm sorry.
Everybody deserves a chance. And if there are feelings, if there are chemistry, why not? I don't care where you're from, as long as you're a nice person or a good person, or we have feelings or chemistry. You could be like, when I look at guys, I don't look for them to be like an Instagram model or I don't know, actor or a boy band. No, I'm looking for the person to be like him and have things in common. So yeah, having those things like looking nice and dressing well, yes, it's a plus, but it depends on the feelings as well.
Well, Octavia, thanks so much. You're so honest. Like I feel like I've gotten a lot of information. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. And let me end the recording. Give me 1 second.